Well, let's make the fact that all the litigation has stopped in the battle for the Straits, the Mackinac Island ferries versus versus each other and versus the Mackinac Island City. Let's make that our grand moment of the day, brought to you by Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island. If you're planning a special occasion this summer and want it to be grand, contact the Grand Hotel at 800-33 Grand or find them online at grandhotel.com. That is a grand moment. Indeed, 15 minutes now before the hour. I don't know about you, but if you've been outside in the evening lately, whoo, the mosquitoes are after you. They're all over the place, and it's kind of an annual call. Howard Russell, entomologist at Michigan State University. Sometimes it's worse than others, I think. Isn't that true, sir?
Good morning, Michael.
Thank you.
Well, Michigan is one of those lucky states where, most years they're bad. And with all our rain this spring, and I would expect another bumper crop of mosquitoes this year.
Some years are worse than others, though, right?
Oh, they can be. The one nice thing about this year, it's been cool enough that their spring emergence has been delayed somewhat, but I think it's just starting, and I think we can expect a pretty good year.
How long does it last, the worst of the mosquitoes?
Well, it depends on where you're at. You can kind of break up our 60 or so species into two types: a spring mosquito, which develops in temporary pools of water, and there's generally just one generation, and those are the ones we're faced with right now. If you live in an area where there is permanent water, more or less, and we have lots of rain, and there are breeding areas that persist through the summer, then we'll have another batch, continuing batches of what we call summer mosquitoes that develop in these pools of water during the summer months. So this year we can expect, lots of spring mosquitoes. Certainly, we've had great conditions for those, and the jury's still out on whether or not we'll have high populations of summer mosquitoes. If the rains continue, low-lying areas or areas that hold water will produce generation after generation of summer mosquitoes.
I guess it's just anecdotal, but it sure seemed to me like they were pretty thick the last couple nights, especially around 7 o'clock at night. Is that about the worst time?
Well, right around dusk, that's true, and the perfect conditions, of course, are still nights and temperatures, above 70 degrees, and those are perfect mosquito conditions. I mean, there's no wind to keep them off you. It's warm enough so they're active. And if you're out, you're going to feed a few of them anyway.
Is there anything you can do to avoid it? I mean, obviously you can wear, I guess, long sleeve clothes and that sort of thing. Does that help, or do they chew right through?
Well, loose fitting clothes are better than tight fitting clothes, and loose clothes help keep the mosquitoes off you. And then, certainly the repellents are effective in controlling them. I live right next to a swamp, so I mean, I couldn't do gardening and mow or anything without repellent in the evening.
Is there since you're an expert, an entomologist, is there a repellent that you recommend? This is what you spray on yourself, right?
Right. Well, I like the ones that contain DEET because it's heavy duty, it's effective, and I've had good luck with them. I mean, there are other repellents out there that have different active ingredients that people find effective, but I go with the old standard.
What about those, I think they were called citronella candles? You could put them on your deck and they were supposed to ward off mosquitoes. Do those work?
Maybe to some degree, but if you're in an area where there are thousands of mosquitoes, you may see some relief or some reduction in bite attacks, but I don't know that they're as effective as what DEET is in keeping them off you.
What about bug zappers? People still have those?
Well, the problem with bug zappers is that, one, they kill a lot of bugs, and, but do they really kill mosquitoes? And mosquitoes aren't attracted to black light so much.
Okay.
And that's what attracts insects to these bug zappers is the black light. And mosquitoes aren't all that attracted to it. They're more interested in CO2, body warmth. So probably the bug zappers aren't. You're not going to see a whole lot of relief from them.
They're little vampires, aren't they?
Well, the females are for sure. I mean, they require a blood meal to mature their eggs, and they'll through their life cycle, the female will take several blood meals. And yeah, in a sense, I guess you could call them little vampires. They're certainly blood-sucking parasites for sure.
And so where do they grow their eggs? Or lay them,
Well,
I guess.
They grow their eggs, of course, in their bodies, but they lay their eggs in areas where they sense water will be present at some point, or they lay their eggs right at the bottoms or right in water. Some lay their eggs on floating vegetation, others on cattails.
How long after they're laid until they hatch? How long are they there?
It depends on temperature, of course. One that I really deal with is a tiny little mosquito that only takes like 8 or 9 days to go from egg to a biting adult. So that one can develop pretty quickly. Other spring mosquitoes, it may take several weeks for the larvae to develop to the point where the adults emerge and begin to bite.
I gotta wonder,
depends on the species.
in the big scheme of the food chain, where the mosquito fits and why its purpose is, what it exists for. Is that a silly question?
Well, no, it's a question I'm asked a lot. I mean, and my standard answer is that, the purpose of any biological organism is to produce more of its kind. And that's the purpose of mosquitoes, is to produce another generation of mosquitoes.
Well, that's not very good news for those of us who fear the little buggers, the little vampires. But Howard Russell studies them at Michigan State University, and we sure appreciate the tips. He says use a repellent with DEET, and we'll talk again soon.